Hello, my dear friends. I'm your host, Samantha, and welcome to the Sedge Circle podcast. How are you today? I hope you are well. I'm feeling much better and have my voice back, so I am very grateful for that. On today's podcast, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the winter season and what it means to me. If you've been following me for a while, you know that living within the energies of the seasons is something that is very important to me. Understanding and aligning myself with the energies of the seasons has helped me heal and become a better version of myself. The winter season has to be one of my favorites. But I realize that for many, it's not. Some people don't care for colder temperatures and prefer longer days. But to me, the winter season is one of the best times to study and uncover the mysteries and movements of nature. Like the plants and animals, this is a season of going inward and truly exploring yourself and who you want to be. And for some, that can be challenging. Some of us do not want to look inward because in many cases it's far too painful, and that's okay. But for me, it's something I enjoy. I love peeking around the forests of both the land and my spirit and seeing what secrets lie in there. This is the time for me of big bear energy. I've always had a fondness and connection for bears. Bears have long been a symbol of communication between the living and the underworld. Bears seemingly go to sleep in the winter, but they are doing far much more than just sleeping. Bears also give birth in the winter, and much like life, the bears, nestled underground, are working to bring new life into the world. And because bears seem to go underground in the winter, they are seen as powerful messengers to the spirit world. The winter is known as the tide of consolidation, where in the fall we began to recess more into ourselves to tie up any loose ends. The winter is when we decide what we will carry with us into the spring. The winter is the time where we will choose what seeds to plant at that time, as well as what we will leave behind us to stay. As I've said, that can be difficult for some people. Taking a long, hard look at oneself can be hard. You must ask yourselves the difficult questions and to really look at your behaviors and how you think about things. But if you can do that, and if you can be honest with yourself, in the spring you will shed that heavy winter coat to become anew. Every season cycle acts in this way, and every year we become anew. There are some things that we may choose to carry with us, and there are some things that we may choose to leave behind. Now is the time to decide what those things will be. In a recent post on social media, I talked about weaving and how, though our threads of life may have been spun well before us, it is up to us what we do with that thread. In the fall and winter, I quite enjoy doing things like crocheting, though I'm not very good at knitting. But I have been doing crocheting since I was a small child. It's one thing that my grandmothers taught to me and passed down through our generations. There is something comforting, at least once you have enough work done, about having something that you've crocheted or knitted resting on your lap and warming it. I have always said that handmade blankets and afghans are magical because within each stitch is an intention. And those blankets seem to be the most comfortable. They're warm, but not too warm. They're just right. In the winter, I will generally choose a project that has to do with crocheting. I'll take the time to choose the right yarn for it and begin my project. But it is so much more than just a simple crochet project to me. It is also a form of meditation. When you're crocheting or knitting, you have to be aware of how many stitches you're making and where you're placing them. Even when you are adept at these things, you still have to focus on them. And while I make stitches and create this work of art, I think about what my intentions are for the upcoming year. It is a very mindful experience for me. There is so much lore and mythology behind weaving and thread. It's said that the three Norns sit at the roots of Yggdrasil and spin the lives of every person on this planet. There are goddesses who spin magic from clouds. And even, possibly now, but many years ago, there were even songs to be sung while weaving. We are the weavers of our own lives. We take what is given to us and we create from it. Sometimes there are breaks in the yarn, and we have the choice whether to repair them or to stop. Sometimes there is debris in the yarn, and it's up to us to pick it out. Sometimes the yarn is strong, and we can make great things from it. Knitting, crocheting, and weaving very much mimic what it means to be alive on this planet. There is a good lesson to be learned from this, no matter what you're creating. Whether you're making things from wood, or fibers, or metal, the lesson is to take what you have and to make something from it. Much of how your project turns out is dependent on your attitude and where your heart is. The same thing can be said for cooking. That food tastes better when it's made by someone with a happy heart. And conversely, food may not taste as good if it is made by someone who is sour. This is what the winter season asks of us. It asks us to take what we have and to decide what we are going to make from it. It asks us to look into the threads, to see the weak points and the strong points, and to decide best how to proceed with it. One important thing to remember is to be gentle while doing this. If you pull on the thread too hard, it will surely snap. Just as if you pull too hard or dig too deeply into your own self, and if you are not gentle, you will do more harm than good. Each stitch of a blanket or piece of clothing is done one at a time. It is not rushed through. But each stitch over time is a part of the bigger picture, and each stitch is just as important as the next. So I might urge you, while looking deep into your spirit this season, to be gentle, to pull softly, to unravel what you must, discard what you no longer need, and to create something wonderful. So, my friends, I suppose that's all I have to say on that subject today. This week I am preparing for a Yule Fest here at my home with my friends, family, and loved ones. We'll sit by a fire and we'll tell tales and we'll sing songs and enjoy a small feast and each other's company. This is something I'm very excited for. A small announcement I have to make is that my Etsy shop is now open, and I have quite a few new pieces there. I have pendants and rune sets and even some hand-blended incense inspired by the forest. As always, if you like this podcast and you are on YouTube, please like and share this with your friends and loved ones, as it helps to support my channel and what it is that I'm trying to do today. And as always, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your presence and for being here today. Until we meet again,